Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 6 of our English 101 class. You've made it halfway through the quarter. Hooray! On Sunday, you turned in your first major project. Kudos. Congratulations. Way to be awesome. Give yourself a round of applause, a little pat on the back. Bask in the brilliance that is you for a moment. Did you bask? Awesome. All right, so now we got to move on because time waits for no man or woman in this case also. So I will be grading your essays. They typically take me between 7 to 10 business days to get those done because I like to give you a lot of feedback. I give you feedback as a gradebook comment, so you have a nice several paragraphs that talk about some of the global issues. You also have a rubric that shows you point by point where deductions were made and also points out some things you did well. So there will be a comment for you in each of those rubric categories. There will also be embedded feedback in the essay itself. And if you're not sure how to view embedded feedback, I will post an announcement that shows you how to do that. But you can also just Google it because Google is awesome and Canvas has a lot of frequently asked questions and student guides that can help you do that. So this will show you exactly how to view that feedback. You go to grades, you click on the assignment, you click on the view feedback tab, and then you can see all of my annotations. I will have little blue bubbles like this spread around your essay. I shoot to put at least 8 to 10 comments in your essay, depending on the essay. Sometimes there's more. Normally there's not very many less, but sometimes there will be more. So do make sure to read these feedback comments as well as the rubric ones and the gradebook ones. So lots of information for you. And the reasoning behind this is not to overwhelm you with feedback, but to give you a lot of tools so that writing project 2 is easier. And so it helps you avoid similar mistakes or errors or misconceptions. It hopefully will help clear things up for you because my goal as a teacher is to help you have more tools. So when you're asked to write in this class or anywhere else, you have a lot of options and you have a lot of skills you can bring to the table to execute those assignments in the very best way possible. So I'm going to give you a lot of feedback on project 1, which is why it takes some time to get those back to you. So that's the deal on the essays. Yay. Everyone always has some questions like, when do we get the feedback? So I wanted to jump the gun a bit there and give you that information right off the bat. And as we said, time waits for no one. So we are moving on to project 2. Project 2 will fit with our theme of justice and true crime that we talked about at the beginning of the quarter. There's a lot of research, particularly educational psychology research, that says if assignments are connected thematically to each other, it's easier to transfer skills from one assignment to the next. So we can then further hone those skills and become much, much stronger writers through that repetition. That's why we have a theme in this class. So we are going to be working with this theme of justice and true crime once again. And in project 2, we're going to be looking at real life scenarios. We started with fictional ones. Now we're going to real life. So we're going to be talking about the topic of trial by media. And what this means is that a case, normally a criminal case, has reached such a high degree of publicity that it's like inundated everything. So it's in the news cycle, it's on TV, people are talking about it on social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. It's being discussed and people are hearing about it in a variety of ways. And what we're going to be looking at specifically in our Project 2 essay is that phenomenon of trial by media and whether or not it violates our constitutional rights. Because in the Constitution, the 6th Amendment says we all have the right to a free trial by an unbiased jury. Now, that's awesome. However, it becomes problematic because how do you get an unbiased jury if everybody knows about stuff before it even comes into the courtroom? So if you think about the beginning of the pandemic, Tiger King was a big thing, right? For some of us. I don't know. You might know about Tiger King. If not, look it up. It's a weird, weird thing. So Tiger King hit such a national level of fame and information that they decided to reopen some criminal investigations and like murder investigations and some other really interesting stuff. And everybody knew about this case. So how on earth would you go about finding a jury that has zero preconceptions to give somebody a fair trial? How would you do that? Would you find a hermit who lived under a rock? Like, how do you find someone who doesn't already have ideas about this case? That's where trial by media can become problematic. So that's what we're going to be dealing with in this particular essay. And we've got lots of things to help us out with this. So today you're going to be submitting a discussion, real briefly, reading an article called How Trial by Media Can Undermine the Courtroom. It's a pretty quick article, really interesting stuff, dealing with the Sixth Amendment and our right to a unbiased jury and a trial. So really, really good stuff here. This, once again, is an article that you can use in your Project 2 essay. Just like we used the Leon Seltzer article for our Project 1, this Vitelli article is a great match for Project 2. So this can be one of your sources. So if we go into the Modules tab to kind of orient you further, we've done so much stuff, guys. We can minimize Project 1. It's done. Kudos. We have some recorded lectures. This recorded lecture on frame justice will orient you to the topic and give you lots of ideas about it. Then we talk about logical fallacies, and that's really helpful as we examine how these ideas are discussed in the media. And then we do have a trial by media topic idea list, and we'll talk more about this in the coming days, but this will give you a list of cases you can choose from to do your essay on. So you do need to pick a case from this list, research it, and then argue whether the person's Sixth Amendment rights were violated because of the trial by media phenomenon. Or you can argue they were not violated and the trial by media phenomenon did not take place with this particular case. So you can argue either side for any of these cases on this list. So lots of really great options for you here, and I go through all of these in depth in the recorded lecture in the Modules tab. But this week we're building up to Project 2. So you're going to be answering those questions in the discussion board about trial by media. Then you're going to be viewing that PowerPoint framed justice. You're going to look through the prompt in the case list. And then you're going to let me know some cases that you might be interested in researching further. So I want you to tell me about 2 cases you're interested in. You're only going to write about 1 for the essay, but tell me 2 to kind of cover all your bases, see which one might be a best fit. So look at the case list. Pick 2 cases from that list and tell me a little more about them. For each case, tell me about the case and a brief summary, just a couple sentences. Do you think that there was too much media coverage? Do you think that coverage impacted the outcome of the case? Based on your initial glance, do you think the Sixth Amendment was upheld? Why or why not? And then do you think you'll have any difficulty finding information about this case? If you do, we have so many great resources for you at the CBC library, and we can have the librarians help you out as well. So lots of great resources there as we take a look at this week. Now, Project 2 works on a much faster timeline. So Project 1, we took over a month to write from the start of when we discussed the project through the end. This was a long, drawn-out process where we could scaffold and look at every single step in detail and kind of baby our way through the essay. I'm sure it didn't feel like that at all, but it gave us a lot of time to develop our ideas and work through this topic. That's not always going to be the case when we're writing, particularly when we're writing in academia. I did Running Start at CBC a long time ago, and I took a history class from a teacher who still teaches at CBC, and I had to write an essay for his class every single Friday. It had to be a 3 to 5 page essay every Friday for this class. And so I would have a week or less to write an essay. That's a little bit more realistic than the lovely month that we had to write Project 1. So Project 2 is on a much faster timeline, you'll note. So we need to get going on it faster to kind of replicate that environment you might be asked to write in other classes. So we are working on Project 2. We're already working on the outline this week. By Friday, you should be working on the thesis and the outline. You're going to be viewing that material on Friday. So it's a much faster timeline. So I'm pointing that out to you now so that you can plan your time wisely and well and still be successful in this project. because you're going to be working on writing and revising the essay next week. And we are going to be having a peer review next Wednesday already. So keep that on your radar as you're planning to be successful in this project. It's going to go a lot faster. It's going to feel a lot faster. So plan that out as you think about your coming weeks and how you need to manage your time. That's what we're going to be doing. Everything you need to be successful, of course, is in our modules tab. And we looked at that briefly already. But if you look at the modules tab, specifically in the essay, here's a lecture video about the outline and thesis worksheet, the research. This will walk you through all the case studies. We've got the prompt here, the outline, the thesis worksheet, the rubric, so you know exactly how things are going to be graded. I've got a link here for signal phrases because as I've been glancing through some of our project ones, we get a little repetitive by saying, like, he said, they said, they said, they said, they said, a whole bunch whenever we use quotes. So we want to mix that up a little bit. And here's a website that kind of gives us some ideas of how to do that. Also, because we're moving through this essay so quickly, I am providing you with a couple samples. Now, these samples are not perfect essays by any means, but they are B or A essays. So they are doing some things very well. So take a look at the samples. If you're wondering how to maybe structure this essay, this is a good place to start to kind of orient yourself and get your feet. So lots of good things available for us here, lots of good supporting materials that you can use to be successful as well. So I'm giving you a lot here. It probably feels like a lot, but it's all designed to help you do very, very well on this assignment. And that's what we'll be doing this week. Lots of fun to be had by all. I'm looking forward to reading your compare and contrast essays this week as well. Shooting to have them back for you by Monday the 17th at the latest. I'm hoping to have them done before the weekend. That's the plan, fingers crossed, but no later than Monday the 17th. All right, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great week out there, folks.